Welcome to episode 2 of the 2023 Sturgis series. I love doing these videos, I really do. It's what started this channel. It's a lot of fun. I've been going to Sturgis since my old man first took me when I was 12 years old because, as I've said a million times, he made really bad choices as a father. Don't take your 12-year-old to Sturgis if he's a boy. For the love of God, he's going to see things that will affect him mentally for the rest of his life. Anyway, so today I figured I'd talk about where to stay. Last video I did was about how to get there, which is kind of dumb because, I think y'all know how to get places. But anyway, so we're going to talk about where to stay, hotels, Airbnbs, and campgrounds, and my experiences, and some tips and just the tip, all that stuff. Let's get into it. So that infamous very first trip to Sturgis was my dad's also when we went, when I was a kid, for the very first time. He had never been. So he was going with friends who had been, didn't know, exactly how this works. And he just knew that a good campground to stay at was Glencoe. And it was, and it still is. What we did was we borrowed a pop-up camper from his buddy. Dad was in the car business, so if any out there in the car business or know anyone who is, they can always come up with a vehicle. So he came up with a little Nissan V6 hardbody extended cab pickup truck. We put his Sportster in the bed of the pickup truck, and then we pulled the pop-up behind the pickup. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, so it's not that long of a trip. It's only about 1,000 miles from St. Louis to Sturgis. So we followed his two buddies on their full dressers with all their crap in the bed of the truck along with Dad's bike, so it worked out really well. I was only 12 years old, so he wasn't going to put me in the back of a Sportster and ride 1,000 miles. I would have whined as I would today if you put me in the back of a Sportster and rode 1,000 miles. So we go up to Glencoe, we find our spot, which actually I remember after going back this last year trying to find kind of where we were. It was under a big tree right off the alley, we'll call it, YouTube being the way it is. I can't say what was actually called. And we set up camp, and Dad said, well, I'm going to take the bike, go up front and get a bag of ice. He did that. As soon as he did that, a young group of dudes and their old ladies pulled in next to us on their choppers, and those old ladies proceeded to remove the clothing from the upper half of their bodies, which changed me chemically forever. And I just knew that I had found nirvana, that day. So when he came back from getting ice, I was up on the alley in a lounge chair holding a sign that said a certain thing, as you'd imagine that one of the old, graybeards had given me. So just one of those great stories about what Sturgis is and what it still is. It's a lot of fun. So Glencoe Campground is a fantastic place. It is, if you're looking for the rowdy, raucous, clothing optional kind of environment, Glencoe is it. And when I say it's it. A lot of the other campgrounds have sort of cleaned that stuff up. They're afraid of getting in trouble. I get it. And so their security police it kind of hard to make sure that everyone's wearing proper attire, during the time. Not body painting and all that stuff, but, none of the, what I'm getting at. That is really only found at Glencoe anymore. The Buffalo Chip back then used to be really crazy wild in that kind of arena, but it's not as much anymore. I stayed at Buffalo Chip 3 or 4 times over the last couple of years, and I've noticed that it's calmed down in that sense. It's gotten a little rowdy the last couple of years in a way that irritates me, but I think they're working on it. In that when the concerts end, let me wait until you get to the Buffalo Chip and all that. So Glencoe, people are nice. They've got good policies. They do have full hookup campsites if you have an RV, meaning sewer also. That's kind of a rarity at motorcycle rallies. Most motorcycle rally campgrounds have power and water, but they don't have sewer. So you're dealing with your tank and all that stuff. Hopefully it doesn't fill up. But Glencoe does have some full hookup sites. Those are sold out for 23 already, I guarantee it. So I would imagine. Check me on that, but I'd be shocked if they have any full hookup sites left. But that's a really good place to stay if you want to be rowdy. Now, a good thing about Glencoe is you can stay far off the alley and you don't have as much noise. Okay? So it's not crazy. You're going to get some sleep. But overarching statement for any campground, bring some foam earplugs. Pop those in at night. It won't matter. You can be next to the burnout. You'll be all right. That's what I do. I sleep with earplugs during rallies. Next campground we'll get to is still probably my overall favorite, and that is the Buffalo Chip. Yeah, it's not perfect. It's huge. It's the biggest campground at Sturgis. It has the most people. It also is where the major concerts are every night. When I'm talking the big acts, they play the Chip. So back in the day, oddly enough, The big acts used to play the Rushmore Civic Center in Rapid City. And then you had sort of your bar bands would play the campgrounds. Now, not the case. Buffalo Chips, where the big acts go. ZZ Top is opening the rally on Friday the 4th. The kickoff party opens with ZZ Top. I've seen Pop Evil, Steel Panther, which I don't know how Steel Panther is going to perform at the Buffalo Chip, seeing as how part of Steel Panther's whole shtick is they get a bunch of girls up on the stage at the end, and then it becomes a clothing optional party. They're not going to be able to do that at the Chip, so that'll be interesting to see how they do that. Who else? There's typically country acts. There's classic rock acts. They even have some rap performances. One of my favorite concerts I've ever seen at Sturgis ever over the years was when Snoop Dogg played in 19 is when Snoop played the Buffalo Chip. Honestly, maybe the best time I've ever had. The Buffalo Chip was the night Snoop played. Just a really good time. So that's where you're going to find all your major concerts. And that's also, as far as camping there, you can tent for, check the websites in this. I didn't go pull prices and all that stuff because this is just for us to have fun. But I think your wristband's typically about $350, for the whole rally. Maybe it's gone up. If you're going extended rally, you're going to also do extended rally, which is like more days in the front end. And then there's like prime rally, and there might even be just short. And then you can buy like 1 day passes for $99. But those passes at the Buffalo Chip are just one-stop shop. There are no options. You can't buy concert tickets alone. Be careful. I've heard of people trying to sell concert tickets to the Buffalo Chip. That is not a thing. There is no such thing as a concert ticket to the Buffalo Chip. Okay? You have access to the Chip or you don't. When you first get to the Buffalo Chip, up front is the Big Engine Bar and some vendors and stuff like that. That's free. Anyone can go to that. Again, the Big Engine and like BMW was there a couple years ago with their bikes. And there's a bunch of vendors and stuff outside the gates. So those are all free. For you to go past the gates, you have to have a camp pass, whether it be a 1 day, a 3 day, a rally pass, an extended rally pass, whatever you buy, you have to have a camping pass. Once you go past the gates and you're inside the Buffalo Chip, it's all you. The concerts and everything are inside the gates, and that comes with your camping pass. There's no separate ticket for the concert. There's no concert-only ticket. The only thing you can do is buy, the cheapest way to go see a concert at the Buffalo Chip is to buy a 1 day camping pass. That, you get what I'm saying? Like, you either have access to the Chip or you don't. There are not different levels, okay? Now to correct myself, there's only one level over and above a camping pass, the Buffalo Chip, and that is Fenske Park. Fenske Park is for the rich folk. I have never been inside Fenske Park because I don't have the money to go to that place. Your RV spots, they do have full hookups inside Fenske Park. They do not have full hookups for RVs otherwise. So after you get your camp pass, you're good to tent with that. But if you have an RV, you need to buy an RV space. Okay, an RV space at the Chip, I believe they're just about all sold out with any hookups by this point. But you can prepare for 24 with this. An RV space could run anywhere, I think, from $500 to $900, depending on the size and location. I've always stayed at the South 40. There are other areas. Actually, I take that back. I stayed up by the water tower once, and that was fun. So if you look on the map, there's a water tower. That drag back there, that was fun. That's pretty much how it all works. You have to buy your RV space over and above. What is up with the flies? Jesus. Over and above your camp pass, you have to buy an RV space. If you have 6 people staying in your RV, you have to buy an RV space and 6 camping passes. Each individual person has to have their own wristband. So there's that. The Fenske Park thing again, that is another admission essentially you have to buy. You have to have a camp pass, and then you buy a Fenske Park pass, which they are lots of money. Maybe I'll put it up on the screen now, because I can go to the website between now and when I put this up. But it's a lot of money. And the Fenske Park spaces, I don't think all, but some do have full hookups. But those spaces are rich folk. That's for rich folk. That's not for me and probably most of you, but it's extremely expensive. The cool thing about Fenske Park is they have like free beer all day. I believe they have some meals available. I think there's meet and greets with the artists. Also, the artists are staying in Fenske Park, so the chance of you bumping into Snoop Dogg, I think, are decent. You know what I mean? Like, that's the reason why you stay there. And that pretty much rounds out Buffalo Chip. You can go ahead and comment down below any questions I missed, and I'll answer them. Moving on from there is where we are staying this year. I don't know if it's a big announcement or not because it's sold out. We have ours, but it's sold out. We are staying this year for the first time ever at the Steel Pony. The Steel Pony is right between Glencoe and the Buffalo Chip. So on the main drag out of Sturgis, 16? I don't remember. Shouldn't have even said anything. I can't remember. The main drag out of Sturgis, you come to a stoplight and there's the Beaver Bar, there's a gas station, and Glencoe is behind it. Okay, the Steel Pony's across the street. So if you're heading to the Buffalo Chip, right, Glencoe's on your left, Steel Pony's on your right. You go straight, and the Buffalo Chip's on your right. They're really close to each other, these three. As a matter of fact, Glencoe, and then on your right, Steel Pony. Steel Pony is where you see the swimming pools and the bars there, where they're looking out at the road. I have a couple friends that are staying there that have talked me into it. So I was there last year for a couple of chopper shows, and it does look like a cool place. So we're kind of gambling. You know, my space is held. I hope it's great. I'm sure it'll be great because a lot of our friends are staying there. It'll be a lot of fun. We will do meet and greets and stuff like that probably at the Pony, at the bar area out front. That is free to anybody. So you can go to the Steel Pony. Out front are swimming pools, bars, live music. There's a camp store with food and all that stuff in there. That's all free. Anyone can go to that. That's probably where I'll have meet and greets. You do have to have admission to the campground to go past that. So we'll be, RV up on the hill there, something. But we'll do meet and greets around the pools and all that stuff. That will be at a lot of the chopper events at the Steel Pony. So if you want to come see some of the what they call Boogie Night or something like that they do, that Cycle Source puts on around the pools, we'll be there for that and stuff. So you can come hang out with us there. Talked about Glencoe, talked about Buffalo Chip, talked about Steel Pony. It's a lot smaller. It's actually, the Steel Pony is where Full Throttle used to be. That, if you've been going for years. The next one, we'll talk about the Full Throttle. So that going toward the Buffalo Chip on the right, you go left out past Bear Butte, what I call a mountain, they call a butte, because I'm in Florida. We don't have stuff like that down here. So to me, it's like the friggin' Rocky Mountains. It's a single butte. So you go out past Bear Butte, and there's a couple campgrounds out there that all have really good reputations. And I think there's the Ride and Rest, and I think Lazy Days, and a couple of those are out there. Those are good campgrounds as well. They have really good. I haven't been there, but I hear good things about them. And then further on the right is the Full Throttle Saloon. You can't miss that. It's the world's biggest biker bar. It's right there. It's a complex in and of itself. We'll be there lots of times too because it's a lot of fun. Good food vendors, typically good concerts. Jackal plays the Bikers Ball Thursday night, I think it is, every year. I've seen Blackberry Smoke there before. They've got good bands also, that play the Full Throttle. If you're looking at the Full Throttle from the highway, to the left is the Pappy Hoyle Campground, which used to be the Broken Spoke, I think. I think it was the Broken Spoke. But now it's Pappy Hoyle Campground. And I have not stayed there, but also a good reputation. I've wandered around it after going to concert at Full Throttle. It always seemed real nice. They have nice shower houses. I did use the restroom one night, and I was like, I'll be damned, that's nice. Like, private little room to change and all that stuff. So when we stayed in Glencoe years ago for the first time, that time I was just talking about, I remember going to the shower house the one day, and it's just, benches, and you take your clothes off, throw your clothes over a bench, and you're all standing there butt-ass naked with like 80 dudes and walking out, and my dad going, well, now you know what the Marine Corps felt like in 1968, like that kind of thing. It's changed since then. They have, more modern shower houses, but it's not like that anymore, which is like a bullpen and shower heads around on the walls. These are like private showers. Matter of fact, Steel Pony has those too, like private, open a door, changing room, like your private space to get stuff. That looks nice. Anyway, so the Pappy Hoyle has a really good reputation. I might throw some prices and stuff up here. They may have availability left for dry camping. Buffalo Chip may even have availability left for dry camping, which means a piece of ground to put your RV on. So you got to bring your water in your tank. You got to run your generator, or don't have air conditioning, which you're going to need it because Sturgis these last few years has been really hot. It's up and down. 2017 Sturgis average temperature was like 53 degrees. Right, last year average temperature was 6,000 degrees. It was hot last year, so I'd imagine we're gonna have another hot one this year. All right, so past that, there is the Sturgis RV Resort, which is very nice. I hear the reputation is a little more quiet, and it's a lot of retirees with nice motor coaches and stuff stay there. It's an RV resort. But that one's really, really nice. If you've got a nice coach, again, you're probably planning for 24 at this point because 23, most things are already sold out. Hotels. be prepared to pay 4 times what the room is worth. Like, put aside your rage and anger, nothing you can do about it. This is an area that is uninhabited most of the year. I mean, other by the locals, right? And then, vacation season comes on. You got a lot of families that come from all over the United States, all over the world to see Rushmore and all that stuff. So the prices are high for that, vacation season. And then Sturgis comes, and they probably double from just vacation season. I remember a few years ago when RV was broke, or I can't remember. We were trying to scramble to find a hotel, and I think I had a Motel 6 reserved, and I think it was like $250 a night for a Motel 6. So that tells you, what you're going to be paying. The old man and I did stay in a hotel in 2015 in Keystone, and back then I think it was $215 or $225 a night. So we're talking almost 10 years ago. It was a nice place though, and had breakfast in the morning and all that stuff. But it's just get ready to pay 3 times the value of the hotel room. Don't get upset. They have to make all their money in just like 60 days, for the year. So just, it is what it is. Don't be a jerk, right? It's expensive. Other places. There is a KOA out by Rushmore. I'm sure the rates are really high. Again, they're trying to make their money for the year. I like KOAs. As a matter of fact, my whole journey up, I should have mentioned this in the last video, I leave out of South Florida. I typically map out my stopping points along the way. It's 2,400 and change, to Sturgis from here. And I typically reserve KOAs along the way because it's, for $50, I've got power, water, my own space that's mine, and if something's wrong, I got to fix on the RV, which there always is. I have a place to fix it, rather than like a rest area where a state trooper's going to come on and run me off, that kind of thing. You have your own space, power, water, sewer, all that stuff. It's just nice to have a place that's yours. So yeah, it's $40, $50 a night, but to me, it's worth it. But KOAs are nice. I stay at them all over the country in the RV when we're doing the family stuff. There's one 15 minutes from my house that we stay at sometimes just for fun. So any KOA is going to be fine. As far as hotels, there's really not a bad one. I mean, like the Deadwood can be kind of pricey, but it's a nice area. So there's a Hampton Inn in Deadwood. You're going to pay $350 a night for a Hampton Inn, which I normally pay $125 when I travel for business. So it gives you an idea. But it's nice, and Deadwood's a really nice place to stay. As far as physically where to stay, I've talked about this in every video, but as your friend, if you're someone who likes to go out late, go to concerts, have drinks, party it up, potentially make an ass of yourself, all that kind of stuff like me, don't stay 50 miles outside the action, right? Because DWIs, I'm going to say this in every video of this series, DWIs are a thing in Sturgis. It's a problem. It's not, the cops aren't a problem, it's that people go out there, go ride and get drunk, and then they decide they're going to ride home. And the cops in Sturgis, their whole job is to keep you from dying. That's all they're doing. And so they will pop you. You will get caught. You will not get away with it. Riding home drunk in Sturgis, the chances of you going to the clink are really, really good because they pull people over for 1 mile an hour over just so they can go just see if they're drunk because they don't want anyone to get killed. It's not like Daytona. It's not harassment. They really are, it seems like, just trying to keep people from dying, right? So don't stay 60 miles from where you're going to end your night, because it's going to go bad, right? I remember in 2015, that year we stayed in Keystone at that hotel, I went to go see Godsmack at the Buffalo Chip. There was thunderstorms and all that other stuff. Now the good thing about that night is because the thunderstorm real bad, it even hailed a little bit, there was 4 inches of standing water all over the Buffalo Chip, it was a mess. Is it started so early and it was sort of a stressful situation that I was trying to keep, like, how am I going to get home? What's the plan? What do I do? That kind of thing. I was alone. I was completely alone. I decided, well, I'm not drinking. Thankfully, that night I stayed, stone sober all night. And then when it was time to go, I had my wits about me and, got my bike dug out of mud, got it stuck 2 different times just trying to get out of the chip. It was pretty rough. And then rode 63, 62, I don't remember, far from the chip all the way back up 16 in the cold and in the rain here and there to get back to Keystone. So don't do that because it's dangerous. There's buffalo on the frickin' highway, there's deer everywhere, it's not, you don't want to be running rural highways in the middle of the night up there. It's not a good idea. So if you're going to be partying at the Chip or Glencoe or whatever, stay somewhere right there. Be close. All right. There are no Ubers either. So you're going to have to get the bus or the Jones bus or one of those and use those. Don't get on your bike when you've been drinking in the middle of the night in Sturgis. It's going to go bad. A general comment about tenting at Sturgis, no matter where you are. Glencoe, the Chip, kickstands, any of those places, which I need to talk about kickstands a little bit in a minute. Again, it can be very, very hot in Sturgis. The sun can be unrelenting, and there's very little shade in most of the campgrounds. There is at kickstands, and there's some at Glencoe. One of my favorite channels to watch, the dude's stuff is like ASMR to me, like you just chill out watching him, is Let's Go Traveling. Check out that channel. Great guy, real nice guy, goes to Sturgis every year by himself, and he tent camps at Glencoe off under a tree. So that to show you there is some shade at Glencoe, there's some shade at kickstands. There is little to zero shade at the Buffalo Chip. So you're going to be out in the sun. It'll also be very, very windy sometimes. So bring extra tent stakes and, keep your stuff attached to the ground, because if a sudden storm rolls through, you'll come back and go, everything's gone. Like it just blew away. It's gone. So be aware that no shade, it can be very hot and the storms can come on suddenly. So just be prepared. Don't put an easy up over your tent. It won't be there when you get back. It crunches those things like beer cans and throws them away. So don't do that stuff. It's not going to work. So you're going to pay a lot for a hotel. You're going to pay a lot for a campground. Less than a hotel though. But it's all going to be worth it. Airbnb, I don't know. Look, I've never done it. I have friends. I know that the Baggers and Brews guys have Airbnb up there. I know that the houses are very expensive that they rent out for the week. But, you also split it 8 couples, something like that, and it's not so bad. I know that like $25 to $3,000 is kind of your going rate for a house. Sometimes the houses, again, back to my earlier point, can be very far away from everything. So if you've got a house in Hill City, you're going to have a long ride. So a quick bit of advice, get on Google Maps and just map that sucker out and just get an idea of where you're staying versus where everything is. The concerts and all that stuff, Main Street Sturgis, the Knuckle, the Iron Horse, all that stuff is where you're going to be at night on Main Street or Buffalo Chip for concerts, and then you got to ride to Wyoming. That's how much is it saving you, and is it worth it? You got to really think about this stuff, because you could be in for a perilous late night, freezing cold, raining ride home for a very long way. So just think of that stuff. So comment down below. Again, at this point, you're probably looking at 24 if you're watching this. That's a giant wasp. Some bitch got a dog in its mouth, wearing a backpack. Anyway, so yeah, comment down below any questions you got, and I'll answer them. I'll read every single one of them. Next one, we'll talk about my favorite places to eat and all that sort of stuff, and we'll do favorite rides and all that. Also, go back to the old ones. I'll probably throw up here somewhere, the old Sturgis videos, because maybe I did a better job with this previous years because I've done it before. So anyway, that's it. Love you all to death. Take care of each other out there. We'll talk real soon. Bye.